Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Ferguson of South's Finest Meats, the official sponsor of the Stingray Show, has a message for you.
Everything we do here is fresh and custom made, custom to order. I tell people when they come in, if you don't see what you like, ask somebody. We've got the capability to process it, make it. If you want a different blend of hamburger meat, we'll do your brisket blend. We'll do your chuck blend. We'll do your sirloin blend. We do all that right here. We are a butcher shop. That's what we do. So please don't be afraid to ask if you don't see what you like. We can make you any size patty you want. We can make you any amount you want. People call me and say, well, how many patties come in the box? Well, ma'am, how many would you like in a box? You want 12, we'll put 12. You want 25, we'll put 25.
That's just one of the many things that South's Finest Meats has to offer, the official butcher shop of the Stingray Show. And with that, I want to welcome you inside the battle for the Golden Boot Trophy that is between Go Tigers, as they say down on the bayou, versus Woo Pig Suey, as they say in Arkansas. This is the 70th meeting all time. However, the trophy for the Battle of the Golden Boot was created in 1996. We're going to be joined by Kevin Bohannon of HawgSports Radio or HawgSports.com, I should say, and then later on, Logan Stokes, former tight end down at LSU, will join us on this edition of the Stingray Show to preview the 70th meeting between Arkansas and LSU.
Hi, this is Tim Brando with a reminder. Look out, you're about to feel the buzz of Stingray.
This is Stephen Ray, a.k.a. Stingray, coming to you live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I'm Heath Hopkins. I'm here in DeSoto County, Mississippi, right outside of Memphis, Tennessee. Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you feel that responsibility to pay it forward and give some kid a chance coming up in the ranks, kind of like Tony did for you?
Why do you think I'm talking to Stingray tonight?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No.
Hey, Stingray, Here's the deal. When you get involved with Texas, it's like getting married to a stripper. and let me explain this. It looks good. It's kind of sexy on the surface. Yeah. But then you get the baggage, you get the drama, you get all that eventually comes with it. And that's what you get with Texas, and that's what the Big 12 learned.
And Heath, any thoughts on our show moving forward?
Hey, with the Stingray Show, if you don't like it, you better learn to love it, because it's the best show going today, baby. Woo!
As we sit here on this Thursday morning, we are about to be previewing the battle for the Golden Boot Trophy. And like I said off the top of the show, it is the 70th meeting overall, and the trophy itself was created back in 1996. The trophy is 24 karat gold, and it is also 200 pounds. It is absolutely incredible the way it looks and, of course, the weight of it. I am about to be joined by former LSU tight end Logan Stokes, who played in two of the Arkansas and LSU rivalry games, and that was back in 2013 and in 2014. Please help me welcome to the Stingray Show former LSU tight end and my friend, Logan Stokes. Logan, how are things with you as we sit here awaiting the 70th matchup of LSU and Arkansas?
Stingray, what's going on, my man? Hey, thanks for having me back on. I always appreciate that introduction too, man. I appreciate that. How are you doing? You doing okay?
Dude, I'm ready for football. I'm ready for Saturday to get here because we've got some amazing games, including the one that we're about to talk about.
Yeah, we've got some good games this weekend. Still a lot too, just in the college football world as a whole. There's still a lot to figure out in terms of this playoff situation. I mean, you've got a lot of teams that are right there on the cuff of getting in, possibly getting out. I mean, listen, and then with this coaching carousel, it's chaotic right now. It's fun to watch. I'm curious to see how it's all going to play out too.
Logan, you are a former player of LSU and you are still connected with the program. Let's start with the coaching carousel, like you talked about. What are your thoughts on LSU pulling the trigger and letting Brian Kelly go? Were you a fan of that move?
Yes, and I do. There's a lot to be said about that too right now, and there's so much going on at LSU
Yeah,
right now. I mean, it is. It seems like every day it's like something new going on down there. With we let him go. We kind of knew leading into it that he was really feeling the pressure from the fan base, and it goes back to I think Ed Orgeron said it the best. Brian Kelly's a very good football coach. I don't think it's anything personal against Brian Kelly, but LSU specifically, the state of Louisiana, it's unique and it's got a certain way of doing things. It's got a certain culture. There's a certain swagger about that program, about that state. And I don't think BK really fit that mold. And I don't think he ever really cared to fit that mold either, Stingray. It's like he never really got involved with the fan base. He just was a little bit he was just out of touch. He just the whole time. So you can get away with that if you're winning football games.
yes.
But as soon as you start losing football games and everybody starts really, really putting you under a microscope, if you're not the guy and
Yeah.
people don't like really, they don't really have a connection with you. And that's what we saw with Brian Kelly. And I'm sure from Brian Kelly's standpoint, I don't know, like, if you're going to get $54 million, I don't know how, how much your feelings are really going to be hurt getting fired when you're getting that kind of money. I haven't really kept up other than yesterday a little bit when I was listening to Hunt Talk. Has there been anything else come out this morning or anything about that lawsuit?
No, nothing I know of. No, but the whole thing is just so.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's just a dumpster fire right now.
Yeah, and then again, listening to like Hunt talk yesterday, he did an amazing job kind of breaking it down for him. I mean, you're getting the governor involved, and the governor's talking about it. You fired the athletic director. Now it's coming out like, well, the athletic director didn't even have authority to fire Brian Kelly, so Brian Kelly hasn't been LSU's coach in 2 weeks, but technically, like he just got fired this week. So I mean, it's the whole thing is crazy. So hopefully we can get that under control because at the end of the day, LSU still needs to find a head football coach.
They do.
And so we don't have a head football coach. We've got Frank Wilson. I love Frank Wilson. He was the running backs coach when I was at LSU. You talk about representing the LSU and the Louisiana culture. That is a guy that can do that.
Right.
He's the godfather of recruiting. Whoever, regardless of who LSU hires, Frank will be there. Frank's going to be a part of that staff. But we do have to find a football coach. And we're dealing with all new staffing from AD, president. We need to find a football coach. We're in a lawsuit with our former coach. It's just, it's just all so chaotic and crazy right now. But in terms of like who we're going to get coaching, I don't know if you've been keeping up with this or not. I just don't know how I feel about it. But Nick Saban went from a 75-1 odds of being our coach to a 2-1 odds, and he's leading right now as the unanimous favorite. Part of me thinks that's just a little bit of smoke and mirrors, but I would love to have him. I would love to have Lane Kiffin. I mean, LSU right now, after what we've endured with Brian Kelly over the past 4 years, LSU is going to want that big splash of a coach, right? The fan base, the alumni, everybody's going to want that big swing and hit, that big home run hire. And I don't know, LSU just really, they're in a tough spot here. Like, they can't screw this up. So I would love to be behind the scenes knowing who they really are making offers to and negotiating with. I mean, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Logan, look, you've got a lawsuit that's pending right now with Brian Kelly. You could potentially have another lawsuit pop up with Scott Woodard, the
Yeah.
athletic director. You may have backed yourself into a situation, and I said this on the show earlier this week, that LSU might just have to turn the program over to Frank Wilson for 1 year to let all of this get settled, and then they start looking for a coach in 2027. I mean, this may have to be a similar situation to what Arkansas did with John L. Smith and
Yeah.
what Mississippi State did with Sylvester Croom. Just, hey, get us over this hump. Just kind of let us get everything settled off of the noise that we have created for ourselves, and we'll sign you to a 1 year deal. And then when that 1 year is up, then we will renegotiate things. Because
Absolutely.
who is going to want right now with a
That's a
lawsuit?
great question. That's what I was just about to say. Like, I
Who's
think
going to want to talk
if you really are in the camp of saying like, well, we're still LSU, like all of this, this is not affecting that coaching carousel. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Like nobody, with all of that pending, you're crazy not to think that it has some kind of impact. So hopefully Brian Kelly and LSU can come to an agreement, a settlement.
Yeah.
I don't see it dragging out in court for long, because I mean that's expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
it's time consuming, and the longer you drag it out, the less money that Brian Kelly is making when he's missing out on paychecks doing that. So surely they'll come to an agreement on that, and that's what the attorneys and the suits are for. I'm sure Brian Kelly's legal team is, elite. I mean, one of the best in the world. And, LSU, I mean, they've got attorneys on retainer there. So it is. That's a great point, Stingray, talking about maybe you do have to let Frank on the show for a little bit. And I don't think that would be the worst thing possible. I don't know. With Frank, I do think Frank, he maybe even had a little bit of an opportunity to, once we named him the interim, kind of like in that Ed Orgeron situation when we fired left, Ed became the interim. He had a really good stretch of games right there as the interim coach, and then we ended up making him the head coach. But the thing with that is, like, if you're an interim, especially with everything going on at LSU and the way the alumni and the fan base are looking right now, Frank really was put in a situation where he needed to win all three of these last games. You get beat by Alabama, and we could talk about that too more. But he loses that game. Now the fan base and everybody is screaming like, "Go get our guy! Go get our guy!" And LSU fans, it's just like they're so passionate about Nick Saban right now.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that it's not possible. I mean, I do think it's a long shot, but yeah, that's a great point, Stingray, that you may have to. Like, if we can't get this settled with Scott Woodward, if we can't get this settled with Brian Kelly, you may have to hand it over to Frank for a little bit. Let's get everything cleared up and then move on and then go find our guy. Hopefully that's not the situation, but hey, very well might be.
All right, so let's go on ahead and get off of the coaching carousel, and let's talk about your career briefly against the Arkansas Razorbacks. The first game in 2013, you guys won versus the Hogs 31-27. And then in 2014, unfortunately, you guys lost 17-0 and helped them snap a 17 SEC game losing streak. Talk about that rivalry in the times that you played against the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Yeah, so that rivalry between us, I mean, like you said earlier in the introduction, I mean, it's a very old rivalry. I mean, it's over a century old. There's been 70 meetings. It dates back, I think, to like 1901 or something like that was what I read. I mean, it's a very long, historic rivalry. And for me, I mean, it used to be played on Friday after Thanksgiving every year. Like that was when it was. It was my senior year in 2014. We actually changed that and we started doing that with Texas A&M. But yeah, going back in 2013 when we played them, I don't know if you remember, Arkansas, it was a really, really good game. I actually went back and rewatched it last night. It was a very, very good game. It was back and forth. I mean, 7-7, 14-14, 21-21. But with about 4 minutes left, Arkansas was up 27-21 on us, and we were struggling. And then Zach Mettenberger, he got sacked. It wasn't even like a big, crazy hit, but that's when he tore his ACL. So we're down 27-21, and that's when our little freshman, Anthony Jennings, that we had, he was Zach's backup. He came in. He did a phenomenal job stepping in at that time. When Mettenberger goes down, you got 4 minutes left. You're down 6. Anthony comes in. He gets us a field goal. Now it's a 27-24 game. Our defense stood strong. We get the ball back with about 2 minutes left, and then Anthony threw a play-action pass down the sideline to Trayvon Durrell. We ended up winning 31-27. But it was just a hard-fought game. Every time we played Arkansas, listen, it's kind of the same thing you're looking at with Arkansas right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Arkansas's got a top 10 offense in the country right now. They're a good football team on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, they're not. I mean, they're actually awful, but that's a way to put it, and they're terrible. But their defensive line and their linebackers, both years that I played there, I mean, they had Trey Flowers. You remember him? 2-time All-American, 2-time Super Bowl champion. I mean, he was a stud. So they were always good up front. It was always a very hard-fought matchup. Like it was even though Arkansas, they've had that run here for a while, but they haven't been great. But they're always it's always a tough matchup. It's just, it was like that in 2013. And then my senior year, which was 2014, I mean, the only way to say it is they whipped us. Yeah. I mean, we had 120 yards of total offense. I don't even know if we crossed the 50, really. It was just a slow, like, methodical game for us. We were freezing cold down there in Fayetteville. It was loud, And, I mean, they were ready to play. We weren't. I didn't realize – what did you say? You said they broke a 6-game losing streak?
17-game losing streak between Bobby –
wow.
Yes, 17 between Bobby Petrino and then Brent Venables. I'm sorry, Brett Bielema between Bobby Petrino and then Brett Bielema. Yeah, they broke a 17-game SEC losing streak.
See, I didn't even realize that, but they definitely – that game they played very, very well, especially defensively. I mean, we couldn't do anything. Right. I mean, we couldn't run the ball. We couldn't throw the ball. I mean, I remember we were getting in too tight and we were trying to run like zone extra check. They were calling our plays out. I mean, they were ready for it. Mm-hmm. And it was just not a very good game for us. And, I mean, again, I want to say it was like 120 yards of total offense, maybe even less than that. But, I mean, they shut us out 17-0. Yeah, so that was my history with them. But just during those two games, I mean, again, you go back to that 2013 game, that was a battle. We pulled away right there at the end, fortunately, even with Zach going down. And then 2014, they just spanked us right there in Fayetteville. But it's always, again, going back, it's like this a lot with SEC teams just across the board. I mean, you got LSU. You could consider Auburn like one of our big rivals for a while. Then we've got rivalry with Florida, and then Alabama, Ole Miss, and then the Arkansas. Again, it's a very long, historic rivalry, and those games are always hard fought for the most part. I mean, it's always an entertaining game. So I'm looking forward to this week. I mean, LSU, this is a very good bounce back week for them. Both teams are essentially playing for pride right here. You've got Arkansas, I think they're 0-5, 2-7 overall, 0-5 in the SEC. But, man, Stingray, they've got that Taylor Green kid that they've got at quarterback. Just to put this in perspective, how good this kid is, Stingray, he's 4th in the SEC in passing. He's 7th in the SEC in rushing.
Yeah.
And so this is a very, very dynamic kid, right? He can beat you with his legs. He can beat you throwing the ball. Arkansas's got a top 10. Sorry. Arkansas's got a top 10 offense in the
Yes.
country. They've got that running back, Mike Washington Jr. He's fourth in the SEC in rushing. I think he's like 22nd maybe in the country. And then they've got that top 10 wide receiver. I think it's Omega Blake is his name. He's very good.
Right.
Arkansas can score the football on anybody.
Yeah.
They are a very good team offensively. Again, defensively, not great,
Right.
which goes back to is a very good, like, positive thing for LSU because our offense is not very good. So you get like one or the other here.
But can LSU score enough to keep up with Arkansas? Because that's been the Achilles heel and Joe Sloan all season for LSU, because to date they have not scored more than 21 points in an SEC game or a game all year. Your thoughts on what the issue is with LSU and that offense? Is it an offensive line issue? Is it play
Oh,
calling?
100%. I think that's where the bulk of the issues start. I mean, you've also got you got to take this into account too, Stingray. I mean, we're going to be playing two quarterbacks. Like
Right.
Garrett Nussmeier, he came into the season, predicted by a lot of people to be the Heisman winner. He was the Heisman front runner to begin the season. And I feel bad for him. Now, before I even continue what I'm going to say, I'm going to die on this hill with Garrett Nussmeier. I think Garrett Nussmeier is a very, very, very good football player. I think he's going to have a great long career in the NFL. I don't know. Again, I'm not in the building every day, so I don't know. And I'm not watching the real film with the coaches and stuff. This is just all from my perspective. He's being put in situations to have to do things that he's not very good at. And our offensive line has just wildly underperformed this year. I mean, we cannot stop a three-man front to save our lives. We can't run the football. We can't run play action. And Garrett Nussmeier is being put in situations where he's having to move around and do things that he's not really accustomed to, and it doesn't really fit his strengths.
Yeah.
So going back to what you were saying, though, it's a great question, Stingray, is can LSU, you really don't know. I mean, can LSU put up enough points? They're going to have the opportunities to, because even as bad as our offense is, I think Arkansas's defense is worse.
Yeah.
So we're going to have opportunities to score. But even with our defense, I know our defense struggled there late in the year. And then I thought they played very well. I thought they played well enough against Alabama to win that game, for sure.
They did.
They put us in situations where we could have won that football game.
Offense didn't show up.
Especially when it mattered the most.
Yeah.
I mean, you get down in the red zone, you take that long sack. I mean, that's just a killer. So, it's just going to go back. I mean, as good as our defense played against Alabama, again, they've also showed times this year where they struggled a little bit. So it's going to come down to can our defense slow them down? Because, I mean, you're crazy if you don't think Arkansas is going to score some points. They've scored on everybody they played. I mean, they're good. They're very, very good offensively. So, it's going to be a great opportunity again for LSU. And we said this when I was on this show last time when we were previewing Ole Miss. It's the same situation, essentially. I mean, we have an opportunity here to go win an SEC football game.
Yeah.
We have an opportunity. They have a poor defense. They've got a great offense. Everybody has been killing our offense all year about how just wildly underperforming that they have all year, or how wildly they've underperformed. I'm sorry. But this is an opportunity then for them to maybe silence that a little bit, give us a little bit of momentum. I know we're not going to the playoffs. We're kind of playing for pride here.
Yeah.
Our season, in terms of our preseason goals, I mean, we're not going to meet those. But you still have an opportunity here to put, especially for the guys that are on that team, I mean, put some good film out there and then go win a football game. Like, let's go win a game here.
Logan, how do you see it playing out ultimately between a horrible defense of Arkansas versus a really bad offense for LSU? Because that ultimately is going to decide this football game.
Hey, before I answer that real quick, I haven't looked. What is the spread on it? Is it still? I know LSU was a 5.5 point favorite, right?
1 second. I'm pulling up the old trusty ESPN app, my friend. I can't look at this in the top 25 because neither team is in the top. It is 5.5. 5.5, and the over/under is 58.
Wow, so they're expecting some points to be scored. Okay.
Yeah. So the over/under is 58, and it's a 5.5 point favorite. 5.5 point spread.
LSU is the favorite, though, right? Yeah, I like that. I would take that bet. I like LSU to win that game. I think LSU. I think they're in a situation here, and especially like again going back to. I know how valuable Frank Wilson is to that program,
Yeah.
and I know he's got a relationship with everybody in that building, everybody at that university, that state. I mean, Frank Wilson is a guy that you want to fight for, right? And then you've got Nussmeier. I think Garrett, him getting benched against Alabama, I know how competitive that guy is. That probably hasn't sat well with him. Like I mean, I sure hope it doesn't, but I just me spitballing here, kind of foreshadowing. I know how competitive he is. I think he's gonna be itching to get out there and silence some haters, like silence some critics here. So I do. I like that. I like LSU in that 5.5 spot right there on the spread, and then the over under 58. I mean, I like Arkansas to put up some points. I think it's just going to come down to can we score? I mean, we're going to have to score. So, but yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Tigers here. I like us to win this game. I don't think it's going to be easy by no stretch of my imagination here. I think it's going to be a very tough battle, but I like them. I think LSU. I mean, you got to give Frank Wilson. As much as he's done for the program, stepping into this interim role with everything going on, I think these kids are going to go out there and fight for him. I think Garrett is going to come back out there. He's going to have, a little chip on his shoulder. He's going to want to get out there and prove some people wrong. So I like LSU in that spot. What do you think? Who would you roll with?
Logan, I will give you that answer after we interview our next guest. I really do want to thank you for joining me to talk about LSU, and I want you to stay here and be my co-host as we talk about the Arkansas Razorbacks. So here briefly, we're going to transition to the Arkansas Razorbacks and this matchup right after this. The Thanksgiving holiday is fastly approaching, and if you have a large family coming to your house, let the Coker Market take the hassle out of the Thanksgiving dinner for you. You can order from the Coker Market smoked turkey breast, smoked half a ham, a Boston butt, wings by the dozen, tenders by the dozen, or sausage balls. Now with casseroles, which you just take and bake, sweet potato casserole, cornbread dressing, and green bean casserole. They also offer baked beans, potato salad, and yeast rolls. You can find them at County Road 140 in Coker, Alabama at the intersection of Romulus Road at the four-way intersection, or you can call to get your order done at 205-331-5066. Once again, that is 331-5066. Let the Coker Market take the hassle out of the Thanksgiving dinner for you this holiday season. All right, so now we are going to transition into the Arkansas Razorback side of this matchup with Kevin Bohannon of HawgSports.com, as he is about to join us right now from Fayetteville. Kevin, how are things with you? And I would like to introduce you to my special guest co-host today, Logan Stokes, who is a former tight end for the LSU Tigers who played in this game back in 2013 and 2014.
Hey, welcome, Logan. Appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, man, it's nice to meet you, Kevin.
Yeah,
So, Kevin, real quick, did you happen to play college football?
I did.
So, what position did you play?
Quarterback.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, how are things with the bye week up at Arkansas, and especially after that penalty fest of a football game versus Mississippi State?
Yeah, and the last 2 weeks have been about cleaning up some stuff, on the injury front and on the field. It feels like the LSU game has been about the third best storyline going into this week, with the coaching search, obviously, and then the basketball season starting. So while the excitement is not there, it's always the battle for the Golden Boot always means something to both teams. I think Logan will agree with that. While LSU has dominated the win side over the last 10 seasons, the games have been really close. 3-point games, 4-point games. Last time Arkansas won in the series was 2021 in Baton Rouge. That was a 16-13 game that went to overtime. So I feel like Arkansas can do a lot of good things in this game, especially in the trenches. That's one thing where Arkansas really hasn't. There you go.
Yes, sir.
You could let the LSU shirt on. That would have been all right with the Razorback in the background. Stephen always does a great job. I gave him heck about having, what was that, A&M shirt or Mississippi State shirt on? Yeah.
Yep.
A&M shirt on 1 week. So
Yep.
Arkansas, if they can dominate in the trenches, I think they have a shot to be in this game to win it late. I'm not going to say they can win it, because we know what Arkansas has done this year when they've been ahead.
Hey, Kevin, I don't know. Listen, with that offense that you guys have over there, I mean, look, it's anybody's game, really, especially with LSU's offense with their struggles and then Arkansas's defense having their struggles. It's kind of the perfect matchup here in terms of Arkansas can score. That kid, that Taylor Green kid, that quarterback, that kid is a ball player, man.
Yeah, he is, and he's had a really good season. Mississippi State kind of hurt him a little bit right there at the end. It kind of choke slammed him. It was kind of the rock bottom. If you get, for all your listeners and viewers out there that are familiar with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and his WWF days, WWE days, it was the rock bottom there at the end. Yeah. He got slammed down pretty hard. So he is healthy. He will be 100% going, as much as you can be 100% in the 10th game of the season. So, I'm not worried about the Arkansas offense so much, but LSU's defense presents a lot of problems. There's some issues there. Look what they did against Alabama and Ty Simpson. They held them to 344 yards and 60-something yards on the ground. Arkansas's key to victory every week, it's penalties, turnovers, injuries, decisions, and special teams. Every week, it all comes down to those 5 things. And can they establish the running game? They didn't do it against Auburn, even though they got ahead. They had a defensive pick 6. They've done a really good job of establishing the run game early. And I'm talking early, first quarter, going into the first 4 minutes of the second quarter. And Mike Washington Jr. can do that. He can get over 1,000 yards this game.
Kevin, let's briefly talk about the coaching carousel at Arkansas. What is the latest on any information about people that could potentially be interested in the Arkansas job?
Yeah, so James Franklin obviously is target one, and there's been conversations. There's interest. Has a deal been offered? Possibly. That's something that the Arkansas brass will, get to at some point. And, with Hunter Yurachek and this being his second coaching hire on the football side of things, when he hired Sam Pittman, he said Pittman was the only coach that was offered the job. Now, was that, could they get to that point with somebody else and they say, well, we'd like to offer you the job, but, we were told not to. There's so many moving parts at this point. So I think James Franklin is doing his due diligence with Arkansas as well. We've been told at HawgSports that he has reached out to and doing his part on everything. What's it like? How's it with everything playing? He's just doing his job. So Jimmy Sexton is the center of all this, and he's the one that's really controlling everything. Arkansas is still interviewing folks. I think Eric Morris, Ron Silverfield, those are a couple of names.
I was about to ask about Ron Silverfield.
Yeah. Honestly, I would love to have Ron. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad play with him, with all the success he's had right there in Memphis, knowing the territory, recruiting-wise, knowing that landscape. I was going to ask you that. What do you think about him?
I'm a huge Ron Silverfield fan. He was one of the first ones I brought up after Pittman was fired. Now, I know Arkansas fans are fickle, man. Logan, you know this. LSU fans are the same way. They're very passionate about, everything. I'm talking details. Now, they won't like Eric Morris because his last name is Morris, because they hired Chad Morris. They're of no relation. It doesn't matter. Ron Silverfield's an old O-line coach. They won't like Silverfield because he's an old O-line coach like Sam Pittman. It doesn't matter. They're not even the same coach. They're not even the same guy. They're not even from the same background. But because he's an O-line coach, he's hands off. And they won't like John Summerall because Joe Craddock's his OC, and Joe Craddock was the OC under Chad Morris. So they're like, no, don't want anybody right there. They were even saying that they wouldn't want Rhett Lashley because Rhett Lashley's from SMU, and that's where Chad Morris came from. That's how crazy fans can be in the SEC. None of those connections exist for any of those coaches. But, it's the thing with Silverfield, there's not a lot of flash. Sometimes that's okay. He's not the Lane Kiffin. He's not the splashy hire, the things that come along and say, oh, wow, look at me. We're going to do this and that. But sometimes you need that. You need the biggest thing you need right now at Arkansas stability. That's one of the things that Bobby Petrino's offered over the last 5 weeks, and it's helped. They've been right there, and they're just that close to getting a win.
And Kevin, I keep also hearing about Jimbo Fisher. Please, Arkansas, do not make that mistake. That was a bad hire by A&M.
Yeah, I don't think that's anywhere. And
that was Scott Woodward that did that.
Yeah. Scott Woodward's gotten $138 million for coaches, so he needs to be a fundraiser somewhere, not an athletic director.
Right. All right. So when we look at this matchup, what concerns you the most about LSU if you're an Arkansas fan?
Yeah, the speed on defense and what they're able to do. That's the biggest thing. Hallmark of LSU over the, with the exception of 2019 when they were going up and down the field on everybody is the stout defense. When you look over there and you always got to know where number 7 is. If you go back to P-Pat and then Honey Badger, now you got Harold Perkins Jr. So 2 years ago, as a freshman, he single-handedly destroyed Arkansas's offense. And I mean,
didn't he have like 4 sacks in a row or something?
Yeah,
like that?
It was ridiculous. He was, SEC National Player of the Week as a freshman. Now, personally, I don't think he's the same player since he tore his ACL. I think he's still recovering from that. It's been just a little over a year. That was against UCLA in week 4 last year. So I think that he's still now finding his way. And when he does, he's just going to be that, guy that can wreak havoc. Look, they went out and bought a whole new defense. You got some really good guys in the back end back there. You got a safety that's leading, got a few interceptions, has some leading the team in tackles. So, the speed on LSU's defense always concerns me. And that's one thing you got to look for. Arkansas could take advantage, like I said, by establishing the run. If they can establish the run, that opens things up for the quarterback running game with Green, and it'll open things up in the play-action pass game.
Kevin, how do you see it playing out Saturday morning between LSU and Arkansas? It is currently a 5.5-point spread, and the over/under is 58.5.
Yeah, I think it could be right at. I could see like a 31-27 type game, and it could really go either way. With the way Arkansas's defense has been this year, they have looked better since Petrino took over. They've simplified things. Quincy Rhodes Jr. has 8 sacks on the season. Arkansas can take advantage of the LSU's line and offensive line's inexperience. And if they can do that and they can get to Nussmeier or Van Buren, whoever's back there, they could hold LSU in the 20s. Now, if they hold LSU in the 20s, I think Arkansas has a great chance to win this game. But LSU's defense is going to, cause some problems. The key factor in this road game for Arkansas is it's during the morning. It's not Saturday night in Death Valley. That's a huge thing right there. So
That's a big advantage too.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage. So, and my keys to victory and 5 burning questions that I do every week for the site, and that's one of the questions: how big of a home advantage will it be at 11:45 on a Saturday morning with an interim head coach? Now I know there's always
with all the turmoil and stuff, and the fan base is kind of checked out a little bit right now, and you got that morning game. It works into Arkansas's favor for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it at Arkansas. Even though they were 2-6 at the Mississippi State game, it was 11:45. It was a good home crowd, but it wasn't a great home crowd. So if LSU can turn out and provide a home field advantage, that could maybe swing it in their advantage. So no matter what, it's going to be a 3-point game because that's all Arkansas plays is 3-point games.
Kevin,
yeah, you were spot on too right there with your prediction in terms of it would not be like very unheard of to keep LSU in the 20s in this game if LSU can even go into the 20s in terms because our offense is we are not scoring the football right now. We are struggling with that. Even though Arkansas's defense has really struggled, this is a great opportunity. Ole Miss was struggling too when we played them. We made them look great. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, LSU cannot stop a 3-man front. So Arkansas, if they can just get a little bit of pressure on Garrett Nussmeier, we're going to be playing 2 guys too, Kevin. They've already came out and said you're going to be playing Michael Van Buren and you're going to be playing Nussmeier. You rattle Nussmeier a little bit, then you've got the young Van Buren stepping in. It's a great opportunity for Arkansas because Arkansas can put that ball in the end zone on anybody. So they're going to score some points. So it is a good matchup. It really is.
So, Kevin, before we let you get out of here, if you would, please recap for us the Arkansas basketball team's loss to Michigan State this past weekend and what you saw from that basketball game.
Yeah, they got the taste out of their mouth with that loss. They beat up on Central Arkansas on Tuesday night, and that was good for them. They won by 36 or whatever it was. Freshmen played like freshmen in the second half. Even though Arkansas was up 39-36 at halftime at Michigan State, they wore down in the second half. Arkansas has big men, but they're not physical. So John Calipari told them, look, you need to be physical. You need to be ready for it because Michigan State's going to do it. I think Arkansas will be better for that loss, and they'll be better than Michigan State going into March, even though Izzo's bunch – going to do a really good job, and those young guys are going to get better. The Clark kid is an absolute beast. He wears number 55 and plays like a Tasmanian devil getting to the rim. So if Arkansas, they're freshmen, and when they grow up, this is an exciting team to watch. They're going to be a lot of fun to follow this year.
Kevin, as always, thank you for taking time. Go and enjoy covering LSU and Arkansas, and we will catch up with you next week. Okay, my friend?
All right, Steven, thanks. Logan, good to meet you, man.
Hey, you too.
We'll see you down the road.
Big Suey. Let's go.
Thanks.
All right. So Logan, we will be right back to finish up the Stingray Show right after this. For over 100 years, the Bank of Moundville has been a name clients can trust. The Bank of Moundville is more than just a bank. They're your neighbors, your friends, and your community partners. Their unique approach to financial education has always centered around families. They believe that financially strong homes today lay the foundation for a brighter futures for tomorrow's generation. You can call them today today at 205-371-2227. Once again, that is 371-2227 to schedule an appointment to build your financial security. The Bank of Moundville is a member FDIC and an equal housing lender. Okay, so that is going to wrap up both Arkansas and LSU. Logan, any final words about this matchup now that we have heard from Kevin Bohannon?
Yeah, you did. It's time. I got to put you on the spot here, Stingray. You still haven't answered. Who you going with Saturday? What do you think?
Dude, this one is so hard because
It is difficult, yeah.
I watched every snap of Arkansas and Mississippi State. Arkansas had 18 penalties for over 200 yards in that football game. A lot of them were on defense because they would not turn their heads around and look for the football as it was coming. Every time Mississippi State went deep, pass interference, holding, or the personal fouls. However, I have no faith in LSU's offense because of this season. I think, honestly, the first team to 17 wins the game.
I like that. That's a good prediction. That's a good point, too. I mean, it is. I'm being a little bit optimistic here because, again, going back to, I just know the competitiveness of Garrett Nussmeier, and I really think he's got a lot to prove this week. I mean, because you go from, and I know like how difficult this would be as the Heisman front runner to getting benched 2 weeks in a row. You know, I mean, that's tough. So I got a feeling, I think Frank has already came out and said Garrett is still our starter. He's still our guy, but Van Buren will play. So Mike will play in the game. So we're going to run both quarterbacks. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup, Steven. I like that. Prediction that you gave there. It is. I mean, so you're right. It's difficult to really predict this because you got one terrible defense against a subpar offense at best, and then you've got a really, really, really good offense, top 10 in the country, against a very good defense when they play right. Because they're very inconsistent throughout the year as well. So what defense shows up for LSU? Yeah, I'm excited though, but I'm going to go with LSU. You're going first team to 17. I like that.
I'm actually going to go with the X factor. I think if Arkansas plays clean with all of the talent that LSU has stockpiled on that football team, I still think the best talent on the field is Taylon Green. If he doesn't turn it over, if he doesn't throw interceptions or fumble, and if Arkansas doesn't do that as well, I think Arkansas comes out of there with the win. Now, if they play sloppy, they turn it over, then that plays into the hands of LSU. But I like Arkansas to win because I think they get to 17 first.
Mm-hmm. I like that. We'll, you know what? Saturday we'll tell all again. And another thing that I want to just kind of throw in there, I think too. What I know it's a morning game that's going to work into Arkansas's advantage. But LSU, I mean, our fan base, we are craving a win in Death Valley. Like the fan base needs it. The alumni wants it bad. So with Frank looking for that first win, this is no better time than now to go out and get that done. So I'm going to go with LSU. But I mean, again, if Arkansas were to win, it's not going to be surprising. And I don't think anybody would be shocked.
All right. So, Logan, as we walk out of here, I do want to ask you and get your prediction on this. Can you tell me which school overall has a commanding lead over Alabama?
Texas A&M. You don't think so? You hate Texas A&M.
Actually, I don't.
Oh, do you not? Who? I thought you hated Texas A&M. No, are you? Who is it? Oh no. Who do you think? What's your answer?
Oklahoma has a 4-2 game lead in the series over Alabama. Oklahoma has owned Alabama, and most recently their only win, Alabama's only win, was in the playoff game. I believe it was back in 2018, and then they got the doors blown off of them by Clemson the following weekend. So I've got to ask you, Oklahoma, Alabama, in Tuscaloosa this weekend. Alabama is coming off, if you will remember, of the ugly loss last year to the Sooners in Norman. How do you see that one playing out? Because I really think that Mateer is back to 100%. Oklahoma has nothing to lose now, as they are trying to be a team that gets into the playoffs. This could be a squeaky good game and a place that Alabama could trip up.
Yeah, I like Alabama. I like everything about them right now, the way they're playing. I'm a big fan of Ty Simpson. I think just his overall demeanor, I think his football IQ, I think he's playing very good football right now. I think on both sides of the ball, they're playing very well. Now, they may hiccups and stuff from here and there from time to time, but for the most part, I think Alabama's playing very good football right now. They've already taken that one loss early in the year against Florida State. Best time that could possibly happen to them, right? If you're going to get beat week one, go to the drawing board, adjust, adapt. Let's figure it out. But no, I like Alabama in this spot. But when going back to what you were asking me, I thought you were asking me what team that you think is just like better than Alabama right now. I think Texas A&M is the best team in the SEC.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. But I'm actually going with Oklahoma this weekend for one reason. I think the inability of Alabama to run the football consistently comes back to bite them. I think that Oklahoma has a well-rounded defense, and I think if you put too much pressure on Ty Simpson, he showed at times last week he can fold, because he did have that sack strip there against LSU. I think the inability of the running game for Alabama comes back to bite them Saturday against Oklahoma.
Who do you think, from like a playoff perspective here, who do you think gets in the SEC, like where it sits right now? Because you've got Texas A&M, Alabama. They look like they're pretty heavy favorites right there.
Georgia,
but then you still got Georgia, you still got Texas, and then you've still got Ole Miss that are right there competing for it. But Georgia and Texas still got to play. Then you've got Ole Miss still has to play Florida. Ole Miss. And then they still got to play Mississippi State, and then Georgia still has to play Texas and Georgia Tech. Yeah. So at some point, you're looking at what two-loss team gets in potentially, maybe.
Or Alabama could run the table and then run into Texas A&M, and then that would just create more turmoil. So it's going to be interesting to say the least. But like I said, I'm going Oklahoma this weekend, and I will also take Arkansas to topple LSU.
I like it. Hey, we're going underdogs this week, Stingray. I like it.
All right. So, Logan, any final words before we get out of here?
Man, I'm good, man. I enjoyed it, Stingray. I always enjoy getting the opportunity to come on, man. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to doing it again with you. So I'm gonna have to text you on Saturday when LSU gets the win.
You do that, man, and I'll do likewise when Arkansas does. All right.
Stingray, man. I enjoyed it. I appreciate it, buddy.
Logan, thank you, man. This has been an absolute blast, and we will catch up with you later on, okay?
It sounds good, man. I appreciate it, Stingray. See ya. Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up the battle for the Golden Boot between Arkansas and LSU. Really hope that you guys enjoyed the Kevin Bohannon interview, and with Logan Stokes, who was my special guest co-host today, because Heath Hopkins has the stomach bug. Unfortunately, it hit his entire family, and now he has it. So prayers to Heath Hopkins, and hopefully he can be back with us very soon. Now, this is the final Stingray show for this week because I'm going to an event tomorrow. So there will be no show on Friday. So we will return right back here on social media on Monday to do a full recap of week 12 of college football right here on the Stingray Show. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, a wonderful Friday, wonderful weekend, and we will see you bright and early Monday morning right back here on the Stingray Show. We all enjoy the changing of the seasons. Fall is a special time to be thankful for our families and many blessings. It is also a great time, though, to review your insurance coverages. Alpha Insurance and hometown agent Jeff Nee can help you personalize your insurance needs. The more you protect, the more you save. With helpful customer service teams right here to serve you in Alabama and over in Mississippi, you can count on Alpha to provide the insurance plan that provides the protection that you need. For all your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs, call Alpha agent Jeff Nee or drop by his office at 202 McFarland Boulevard East, Suite 101 in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And remember, with Jeff Nee, the more you protect, the more you save. I am representing a clothing company right here in Tuscaloosa that is called J&J Apparel. If you like the Mississippi State shirt that I have on, you can find all of their Mississippi State apparel as well as Auburn, Alabama, and Ole Miss at jnjapparel.com. They are located right here in Tuscaloosa, but they also have other merchandise for other SEC schools as well. So once again, if you do like this polo that I've got on and the Walking Bulldog, go to jnjapparel.com and get all of your SEC merch right there for Ole Miss, Alabama, Auburn, and Mississippi State with J&J Apparel. The Thanksgiving holiday is fastly approaching, and if you have a large family coming to your house, let the Coker Market take the hassle out of the Thanksgiving dinner for you. You can order from the Coker Market smoked turkey breast, smoked half a ham, a Boston butt, wings by the dozen, tenders by the dozen, or sausage balls. Now with casseroles, which you just take and bake, sweet potato casserole, cornbread dressing, and green bean casserole. They also offer baked beans, potato salad, and yeast rolls. You can find them at County Road 140 in Coker, Alabama at the intersection of Romulus Road at the four-way intersection, or you can call to get your order done at 205-331-5066. Once again, that is 331-5066. Let the Coker Market take the hassle out of the Thanksgiving dinner for you this holiday season. For over 100 years, the Bank of Moundville has been a name clients can trust. The Bank of Moundville is more than just a bank. They're your neighbors, your friends, and your community partners. Their unique approach to financial education has always centered around families. They believe that financially strong homes today lay the foundation for a brighter futures for tomorrow's generation. You can call them today at 205-371-2227. Once again, that is 371-2227 to schedule an appointment to build your financial security. The Bank of Moundville is a member FDIC and an equal housing lender. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Ferguson of South's Finest Meats, the official sponsor of the Stingray Show, has a message for you.
Everything we do here is fresh and custom made, custom to order. I tell people when they come in, if you don't see what you like, ask somebody. We've got the capability to process it, make it. If you want a different blend of hamburger meat, we'll do your brisket blend. We'll do your chuck blend. We'll do your sirloin blend. We do all that right here. We are a butcher shop. It's what we do. So please don't be afraid to ask if you don't see what you like. We can make you any size patty you want. We can make you any amount you want. People call me and say, well, how many patties come in the box? Well, how many would you like in a box? You want 12, we'll put 12. You want 25, we'll put 25.
That's just one of the many things that South's Finest Meats has to offer, the official butcher shop of the Stingray Show. And before I get out of here, I just wanted to do a friendly reminder and let everybody know Thursday night football tonight is the New York Jets traveling to New England Patriots. And that game will be on Prime Video at 7:15. And then when we go to Friday, we have Louisville and Clemson in the ACC. And then Minnesota is on the road at Oregon. And we will see you Monday evening, or I should say Monday morning, right back here on the Stingray Show. Sayonara, see you on Monday.